I did both. I did not put a stop loss and I did not close it. And the next morning I woke up, I was like, oh no, my account is gone. What happened? That's how my journey in trading begins. Being consistent is all about keeping your discipline, no FOMO, no fear of missing out, and always stick to your trading plan.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another TFT interview. Today I have the pleasure to host Eugene, who comes from Malaysia, and he has been a financial advisor for 6 years now. So I can't wait to hear his story. Welcome, Eugene.
Hi, Anna. Nice to meet you, and thanks for the opportunity for interview.
Hey, nice to meet you too. How are you today?
Yep, I'm good. Thanks. Hope you're good too.
I'm great. It's great having you here. So can you first tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into trading?
Okay, so a little bit more about myself. I used to study engineering, environmental engineering. And it's a very boring subject and the people there are a bit more studious. And that's where I realized that this is not my thing. So that's where I did a complete switch to another course, which is a degree in financial risk management. And that's where I realized that the financial industry is actually a more exciting topic, something more interesting. And that's actually also when I realized that I really love to look at the economics news and all. So when I first started, I was a banker in one of the banks and I promote investment products and all. Then later on, I realized that, hey, why not? Let's try trading. So that's where I started to touch a little bit more on trading because I have quite a number of friends who are traders themselves and they started telling me that, hey, why not you start trading on your own, stuff like that. So that's where when I first started my job and I got my first pay and I was just telling myself, hey, look, I have some extra cash. So let's try out. Make money with this money. So of course, like all first timers will always say, you always have to pay a tuition fee. So when you trade, you lose. You trade, you lose. So that's where I realized that, hey, trading is not for me. I'm not winning at all. In fact, I'm losing. So that's where I stopped. And then the most notable incident was, if you remember many years ago, was Brexit. So Brexit, that time, everyone was just saying that, hey, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So of course, I think it's not going to happen too. So I was just buying the pound. Just buy. And as a beginner, you tend to over leverage. And so I did. But of course, it didn't look too bad because the pound was flying and my account was growing. And like all newbies, when you see your account growing, you wouldn't want to close it. Either that or you don't put a stop loss. But for me, I did both. I did not put a stop loss and I did not close it. So in Malaysia, our timing, just when I'm about to go to sleep, I think that's where the London market almost closes. So I just went to sleep with my accounts in huge profits. And the next morning I woke up, I was like, oh no, my account is gone. What happened?
Oh my God.
That's where I read the news that, oh, Brexit has happened. And I'm like, oh, what has just happened really? Is this a dream and stuff like that? So that's where I really took a big hit. And I stopped trading completely. So sometime around this year in April, I think, again, a friend told me like, hey, why not you start going back into trading? It's been good, So of course, again, when how cookies and advertisements on Instagram work, social media. So
once you say trading, all that advertisements.
So, but of course, this time is a little bit different because this prop firm concept came in and I saw funnel trader and I just got curious into it. So I just clicked into it and started to understand a little bit more. But at first, to be very honest, the website looks interestingly cartoonish. It looks too casual to be I didn't really bother about that. But later on, my friend told me that, hey, why not you just give it a try? And then again, I looked into it and I realized, wow, this is interesting. Companies actually giving you money to trade instead of you having to put in your own money and trade. So I think that's how my journey in trading begins. I think probably about 5 months ago, roughly. Yeah.
Wow, so interesting. And I have so many questions now. So you mentioned that you were a financial advisor and you have been a financial advisor for quite a long time. Like, I believe that this has such a great impact on your trading, and it helps you a lot with the fundamental part. I believe that you were mastering fundamentals.
So definitely helped.
Yeah. So, as a financial advisor, what would you say are the most important things that helped you in your trading, and
Uh,
that people should like? What is a must as a trader that you have to know and you have to like follow?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question because more often than not, we already know the answer, but we just don't follow it. So just like how I always advise my clients, when you do an investment, you don't expect the results to be there within the next few months or maybe even next 1 year, because some investments take time to grow
Yeah.
and some really you requires a lot of patience. So same goes for trading. When you enter a trade, you don't expect it to be instantly blue, where it's straight away profit. Of course, that might happen if you enter during the news and you got lucky, but more often than not, most of the time you enter into a drawdown first. So to me, the most important thing to be aware of is discipline and patience. For me, I would say that patience is the key to everything, because if you're not patient, you can just make all kinds of mistakes that people say do not make.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you are impatient, the setup tells you to enter a trade at this price, but end up you enter it at a lower price, which is not favorable for you. Or sometimes when the trade tells you that it's a bit risky, but you just tell yourself, yeah, I'm a little bit more, I feel like it's going to work out well for me. So you just feel impatient and you just whack a bigger leverage on it, bigger lot
Yeah.
size. And then when things don't turn out your way, that it's not nice to see. So to
Yeah.
me, patience, discipline is actually very, very important traits for a trader to have, especially. Yeah.
Yeah. So discipline and don't have wrong expectations.
Yes, exactly. Expectation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as a financial advisor, did you like study a lot technical analysis in order to know like when to advise your clients to start buying or to sell to cut losses? Do you have like how is the procedure and how did it benefit you in the trading space?
Okay, so in terms of financial advisory kind of job, it's mainly fundamental analysis, because we don't really go into the technicals, we don't really show the charts. I mean, we do, but we don't go into details, because
Yeah.
if you do, your clients, they are not young, some of them are old. So when you tell
Yeah.
them too much technicals, they don't understand. So no point telling them so much technicals, whereas you just straight away go to the main point, the key fundamentals. Just tell them why is this happening, why is that happening, and then tell a story and make sense into them. So financial advisor, if I were to put it very simply, it's more like you tell a story, you drink a coffee, and you make money kind of job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's literally as simple as that. You tell a story just while drinking a sip of coffee, So that's the landscape of this job. So it helps a lot in trading, because in trading, most of the time, we will look at technicals, we will neglect the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we do our charts and then we realize that, hey, look, I think the price is going to go down here. But then if you don't study it for the fundamentals, you may not know that this particular news will actually make the price go even further up. So this is where you need both fundamental and technical analysis to come in hand to make your trading more effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And an interesting question would be, in my opinion, do you look at the news from like the news from BBC and other like news reports or like channels, or you look at the news at different places? Because I have heard that like things can be manipulated. Is that true? Like, how do you make sure that you get a solid and true information about the things that you're reading about?
Okay, so in my opinion, we as the retailers, the informations we get are usually late.
Yeah,
So
that's
whatever
what
you see on the news, like for example, if some analyst says that on BBC says that Bitcoin is going to soar, it's going to fly, it's going to shoot up.
It has
To
already
me-
happened. Yeah.
Exactly. To me, the opposite will happen.
Okay. Yeah.
So like right now, I think someone was saying that a recession is coming or something like that. So to me, that is a sign that the market is going to go up. So to me, news is important. I always listen in the background, like on the BBC, CNN, all this. I listen in the background so that I just listen, so I don't miss out on any important news.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, news is not the main thing, because the opposite will happen. And all the market makers, the big boys,
Yeah.
they are all, they control the news basically. They want the retailers to do whatever that they want them to do, and then they just wipe out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes news is important, but you don't go too detailed into it because you must always remember that we are just small fishes in the sea and we try to ride the wave along. We don't try to push when there's so many of them out there against us.
Yeah. So would you say that the way you look at the fundamentals is by checking different reports and making the macro picture for you to know the long-term direction instead of like just sticking to a specific report that or a specific announcement that they release on a daily basis?
Yeah, correct. Exactly. You look at different channels, you look at different websites to get different opinions and ideas because some will say yes, some will say no. So that's all right because everyone have their own views, everyone has their own opinions. But most importantly, what you do with their analysis, and that's how you make it up, create your own decision. So because if everyone says buy, you have to imagine that it's weird. Cannot be everyone say buy because surely there's someone who will be behind the scenes there. Yes, I hope I will just quickly do a sell. They can, make some money behind it.
Yeah, very interesting. So there are so many benefits for sure that you can implement from your profession into trading. But are there any disadvantages? Has it happened to you that you kind of stick to bias and your ego takes over and you start like taking trades according to the fundamental analysis that you have, the bias that you have created from the fundamental part, and you just take you just like kind of take trades to prove yourself right from the fundamental part. Has it happened to you? Like, are there any disadvantages that you notice from your profession into the trading space?
I would say yes, there are some disadvantages because bias tends to come. So like right now, I'm sure everyone has heard of the news that they were saying that there's this BRICS that's coming, a new currency, which makes the US dollars less dependent. So when you see this kind of news, you assume that US dollars is going to go down. So when you have that bias, what you're going to do, you're going to buy gold. You're going to short the US dollars. So if you do that, I think you're probably going to be losing your account because this news has been out there for quite a while now. But you still see US dollar strengthening, you still see the gold dropping, and you must be asking yourself, what is going on? I thought they are going to not depend on the US dollars anymore. So it is times like this when fundamental analysis is good to listen, but you do not be biased because as a trader, you trade according to the charts, you trade what you see, and whatever is there, it's there for a reason. So we try not to be too speculative, whereby we try not to outsmart the whales. We just trade what we see basically, and don't just lose your account.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's go more into other topics. What are the failures in your journey that you cherish the most?
Okay, so I would honestly say my first exposure to prop trading, there has been quite a lot of failure there, and I think that is one of the biggest lesson for me, and it's a big turning point for me. So as I was telling you that when I first started seeing cookies on Instagram, all the advertisements, so they have like the Thunder Trader. They have other prop firms that pops up. So naturally, when this kind of thing come, you get very curious and you want to give it a try. So I did. So I went to purchase an account with one of this prop firm. That's not the Thunder Trader, others. I traded, and I think within a week, I lost the account. So being a new trader, you thought, okay, fine, this challenge fee, I think you can probably earn it back trading. So you purchase another account and you started trading again. But of course, this particular prop firm is interesting because they have the element of insurance there. So if you lose the account, they'll replace another account for you. So again, I traded the account and then I lost again. And I can remember very clearly it's a GBP JPY pair where if you remember, this pair just keep going up for no reason. So it doesn't retrace. So I lost my account. And then when I got my replacement account, I continued shorting the pound yen and I lost the account again. So I just asked myself, like, what's going on? Why do I keep losing my account? So never mind. I told myself, let's not trade this pair. Let's try something else. So I went to start trading gold. And again, when I trade, and then I just realized that this is not going well. I'm losing. I getting into drawdowns, and again, I lost the account. So this is particularly painful because, accounts are not cheap. And when you lost so many, you tend to feel very demotivated and dejected. So this is where you will actually ask yourself, like, are you really up for this? Should you really be doing this? Should you really trade with a prop firm? Should you really continue what you're doing? So when I was in that position, it was a really tough period because really, again, when you lose your money, no one likes the feeling. So this is where it's all mind over matters. It's easier said than done. I tell myself that, hey, look, this is just another failure, and who knows, I might pass the next one. Who knows, I might pass the next one. So I just kept sticking to that faith and the belief, and of course with my wife's encouragement, that she says that, hey, look, all success comes from failures. And no one succeeds at the first try. So on the time when I finally traded and I finally passed my first account, I was so very happy and I got so excited. And then what I did was I wanted to keep that momentum and I purchased another account. And again, I passed the account. So I was really, really happy. And then I was just doing some thinking, like what went right and what went wrong before. And again, like what I mentioned, it all comes down to discipline, consistency, taking small wins rather than taking one big win. And this really helped a lot because back then I remembered I wanted to pass the challenge in just few days. And well, that didn't go well. So later on, I realized that, hey, look, let's just try taking small wins. Let's not aim big and trade safely. So this particular incident really taught me a lot. So I'm thankful for this experience because then later on when I purchased my first account with TFT, my second account, thankfully I haven't sold any. So I am really very, very happy because of that and hope to keep it that way for a long, long time.
Yeah, I'm crossing fingers for you. And
Crossing
it's
fingers,
very,
yes.
it's really amazing, and it's really nice that you're so transparent and you're sharing with us that you have been through so much failures, and people that are fighting, that they should understand that even though you're a financial advisor and you have so much knowledge of fundamentals and I believe of technicals as well, like it's normal to fail. It's part of the process. And we just have to take those failures as lessons and not allow them to set us back and make us to give up. So you mentioned prop firms a couple of times. So before we jump into more details, I would just want to ask you about the Funded Trader. How did you find us, and how is your experience with us?
Well, I found them through advertisements.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Advertisements on Instagram. And when I first heard of it, I was actually pretty interested because the name, the Funded Trader, sounds a little bit too normal. But later when I clicked into it and I started exploring the website, and I found out that, wow, this is very different. This prop firm particularly is very engaging. Their customer service is on point. Like when you have something to ask, they will reply you very quickly. Even if they don't, they will. You will know that they reply you eventually. Maybe an hour's time or 2 hours time, but they will definitely not leave you hanging. So, and also in terms of their programs as challenges, I find it very interesting because they have Royal Challenge, Night, Standard, and Rapid. At first, I didn't really understand what's going on there. I just thought they look the same, but they're not the same. So I didn't really bother go and read. So that is probably the reason why I hesitated to get an account back then. But later on, when I fully understand the difference in each account, and I realized that, wow, this particularly prop firm Funded Trader has a really interesting set of rules and criteria for a trader to pass it, because it's not simple, but it's very accommodative. Traders can actually make use of their the promotions that they offer. Like for me, I am very blessed to be able to get one account that has a promotional profit sharing of, I think, 95%.
Wow.
I think that was the Father's Day promotion. I was really happy because of that. And other prop firms are just offering 80%, 85%. So the Funded Trader in particular, I was very impressed, and I felt that they are very generous with their promotions. But I'm not sure now. But back then it was really good. Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. So you mentioned a couple of things, and I want to go back to the failures and the lessons that you learned. And did you have like a mentor that was coaching you when you started with trading, or you implemented the knowledge that you got from your profession and tried to like develop your trading skills by yourself?
Okay. Naturally, I wanted a mentor, but I definitely couldn't find one. And as you mentioned before, there's a lot of scammers out there
Yeah.
pretending to be gurus. They can show you all the good profits that they have, but they don't show losses. So it gets really unrealistic, and you just get skeptical. And there are a lot of courses out there that says, "Hey, look, if you join, you're going to be able to be a good trader in the next 1 month, half a
Yeah.
year, 1 year, depending on how good, how hardworking you are."
Yeah.
To me, I feel that these are all marketing gimmicks, because
Yeah.
if I feel that you are really so good at trading, why do you need to promote such course? You can just learn from your trading. Why do you need to every day talk to your students, teach them? I think that's even more tiring. So to me, mentor is not easy to find. So obviously, I went YouTube, and I think YouTube is probably everyone's mentor. There's so much content on YouTube that I have not learned everything yet. So I've always been wanting to learn the ICT, the SMC, these two in particular, because I've heard so much about these two, and I haven't really gone and study it yet. So definitely, I'm looking to study these two strategies. And of course, during my trading, I always look to YouTube. You know, there are some people who give the analysis on YouTube. So some of them I find are pretty good. So I think YouTube is a pretty good mentor for me. And of course, in terms of a friend, I think it's good to have friends trading together with you, because otherwise everyone will say trading is a very boring career. You're always alone in your room with your PCs and all. So to me, having a friend trading together is more fun, because definitely you wouldn't want your eyes to be fixed on the chart 24/7 a day. So there could be times where you're tired, you want to have a break, you take a sleep.
Yeah.
You know that at least there's someone out there, your friend, who will just keep an eye for you, with you. And if anything drastic happens, he can just quickly drop you a message and let you know, "Hey, look, this is what's happening now. Do you want to do something about it?" So to me, that's good, because I remember sometime last month, the gold market, sometime an hour before the US market opened, I have no idea why, I was shorting gold, and the price just spiked up 100 pips in just like 5 seconds. I was caught by surprise, and it was so nearly hitting my stop loss. But I was just, that moment, I was actually, if I'm not wrong, I was having my dinner. Then my friend texted me, tell me, "Hey, this happened. Quickly look at your chart. Did your stop loss got triggered?" So I went to check. Oh, it haven't triggered. But at that point of time, I had to quickly think, what should I do now? What should I do now?
Yeah.
So of course, I took the risk. I entered another trade. Of course, with a very tight stop loss. And lo and behold, thankfully, the price retraced all the way down within the next half an hour. So that was a really good trade. But of course, this wouldn't have, I wouldn't know about it if my friend didn't tell me about it. Because, you know, sometimes when you're having a dinner, your lunch, you're sleeping,
Yeah,
you're definitely not looking at the
check
chart.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So trading together with a friend is good, because sometimes also when you're winning, yes, you celebrate together. But sometimes when you lose, you get someone to comfort you together and tell you, "Hey, don't worry about it. Trading is all about winning and losing. It's how you handle it." So yeah, that's pretty much that.
Definitely. You definitely mentioned so many things that are very important, according to me as well. I know that you are a very consistent trader, and you're receiving like 5-figure payouts. That's an incredible result. So what are the skills, the mental skills that you had to develop, apart from like the technical skills, in order to stay consistent and disciplined, and what were the things that you had to develop to be consistently profitable, not only profitable?
Okay. To be consistent, I would say it's the ways to do it, to be consistent, it's always easier said than done. So like I can be telling you all kinds of ways, but again, it doesn't mean that we all follow it.
Yeah.
So most importantly is we find one or two that really sticks to you. You really will fully understand and follow it. And to me, being consistent is all about keeping your discipline, no FOMO, no fear of missing out, and always stick to your trading plan. So for me, trading plan is particularly important because back then, for example, if you are a funded trader in the funded trader, let's say you have a 100,000 account and your strategy probably say you can averagely earn about say 50 pips in a day on an average. So 50 pips on a 100,000 account, maybe you can say you earn about maybe 0.5% in a day. So of course, when you talk about 0.5% in a day, we do not know the actual figure. But if your account is 100,000, 0.5% is actually $500. So $500, it's a lot to some, but it's not a lot to some people. But when you have a bigger funded account, say 500,000, when you talk about 0.5% from a 500,000 account, that's already 5 times the amount. So for me, I definitely am looking to increase my funding with the funded trader so that, example, if my strategy, I know that I can make about 0.3 to 0.5% in a day, I do not have to make so much in a day. Once my account size gets bigger, maybe averagely I only have to take 0.1% in a day and that'll be good enough. So in terms of that, being consistent is definitely a key so that you can pass more accounts. And in terms of how do you keep your emotions in check when you trade, definitely it's not easy. Back then, I remember when I was trading, sometimes when you're in a trade, doesn't matter you're winning or losing, sometimes you will lose your appetite because you are a bit worried. Most of the time, especially when you're in drawdown. So when you look at your account, oh, sure, this rate, never mind. Stick to the plan. Oh, your setup will turn out well and just be patient. So a lot of times, like for me, my trading strategy particularly requires a lot of patience because sometimes going to drawdown is very normal. But sometimes being a consistent trader is also being patient. So sometimes when you get impatient, when you look at your account, when you to the drawdown, then you ask yourself, should you cut loss? Should you, just take a little bit more pips and just close the trade in a break even, something like that. So sometimes when you're not patient, you just tend to just do those break even or cut losses. And I think most of the time people will relate. The moment you close the trade, the price start to go in your favor. Almost 100% of the time, every single time. And then you start asking yourself, what is going on? Is the market against me or what? Why every time when I close the trade and it just started going into the way that I wanted it to go too? So that's why my wife also nagged me about it, say, hey, why do you keep closing the trades early? Like, for example, if I set my take profit at 1,930 and I close it early, then later on, maybe an hour later, it went back to the original TP take profits level. So I'll be complaining to my wife, I should have held the trade. So at the end of the day, it's all about looking at your trading plan, how much you want to make, because in Forex, there is no limit to how much you can make. You can be really, really lucky today, enter a big lot size, and the market just shoot up in your favor and you earn big. But the opposite could happen as well. So in Forex market, to me, I understand and I fully am aware that it's not about how much you can make, but it's more of how much are you happy with when you earn it? So for example, you can be trading and then maybe your strategy allows you to make, example, 5,000 a day or 5,000 every 2 days. But you ask yourself, 5,000 a day or every 2 days, is that too much or is that too little? Obviously the answer is it's not enough. There's nothing is enough. So then when you realize, hey, look, actually I don't need 5,000 a day. I probably only need 1,000 a day. So then when you need 1,000 a day, which means that you will take profit quicker and you put your account at lesser risk, because sometimes when your account is floating at a profit, for me personally, I am also as worried because you never like seeing a blue turning red. So trader always being very impatient. Oh, hasn't hit my TP, but I'm just going to close it now. So it's all about being patient and discipline, and so that you can remain consistent and knowing how much is enough, because no money is ever enough for anyone. That's what I think.
We're greedy. That's
we're greedy.
the human nature.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I have 2 questions from the things that you mentioned. The first thing is, how do you manage your risk? So do you use like different risk management on different accounts, and do you adjust your risk management depending on if you're in profit, if you're in a drawdown? How is it on the challenges, and how is it on the funded account? And then the second question would be, do you implement other like daily habits outside of trading that help you to stay consistent and disciplined?
Okay, let me see, how do I answer that? Okay, so in terms of the trading, for me, example, if I have one account now, I would risk 1% a trade, 1% in that trade. However, if I have two accounts, that's for me, I will enter the same trade on both accounts, but the risk is 0.5, 0.5.
Okay.
I will divide the risk. And if I have four accounts, I'll do the same trade, but it's 0.25 for each.
Okay.
So that's how I manage it currently. And for me currently, that's very manageable, because then you will see your drawdowns getting lesser and lesser as you have more and more funded accounts. So back then, when I was contemplating what account size should I take, whether should I take a 200,000 account, 100,000 account, or 300,000 account. So then, because this came into my mind, so I thought, okay, let's try like 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you just split the risk like that.
Yeah.
So it worked really well, because your emotions is not so affected when you see a smaller figure that is in losses. Because if you squeeze all into one account, 0.5% may look like a very huge amount if it's like 4,000 an account.
Yeah.
So in terms of the psychology wise, it also helps a lot. And of course, having multiple accounts also help in the way that, because in the funded trader, when you request for a payout, you can't trade. So imagine you only have one account that's big, and then you request for payout. You'll be really bored. You can't trade at all. You'll be really bored. So for me, having a multiple account so that I can, take turns to request for payout, and at the same time being able to trade. So that's important for me. And the second question you asked in regards to my lifestyle, in which to help me keep consistent. So for me, in terms of that, I would say that I have a specific time zones that I trade, and there are specific time zones that I do not trade. So for example, I know which time zone I don't trade, which is the US session.
Okay.
Especially when they have news. For me, I'd like to trade US, because my particular strategy, if it moves too fast, you will require quick hands, quick thinkings, and when that comes, you are very stressed. Like, should you be doing this? Should you be doing that? So it's very stressful. That's why I know that I do not want to trade US session. For me, I would love to trade the London session and sometimes the Asian session. But most of the time, London session is perfect, because the volatility is just nice. It gives you time to react. It gives you time to think about your strategy, whether is it still going to plan? Is it not going to plan anymore? Because in the US session, really, it's a roller coaster. If you missed it, you missed it. So in terms of that, and also it helps with your balanced lifestyle, because US session in my time zone is nighttime. So nighttime, normally we call it a family time. So you don't want to be looking at the chart the whole day, and then, you just neglect your family and you lose the best years of their life. So you want to be able to trade, make money at the same time, spend some time with your family, and keep your sanity, so that you're not always looking at charts, always figuring out what's next, where's a good pair when's a good time to trade. So you set a time that you don't trade, and you set a time that you trade, so that it keeps you more relaxed when you are not trading during that time.
Yeah. And do you have like daily habits? Do you practice like meditation or maybe breathing techniques, something like that helps you with the focus?
I don't meditate, but I guess for me, because I'm a Christian, so we pray. We pray that whatever we do, it's good, and pray for wisdom and stuff like that. So it's more like that, not really meditation.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has a different type of meditation, so this can be considered like your way of meditating.
Well, I guess. I guess.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, let's touch a little bit on the technical part. Would you like to maybe share your screen and show us quickly how you analyze the charts and maybe an example of a trade?
Okay, I can share quickly, but let's see if that helps. Okay, so for me, I'm actually trading gold most of the time because I like the volatility. So that's also the reason why I don't like to trade the US session. US session goal is crazy. So what I normally do on the weekend is I will mark my zones. So like I will mark this area that will potentially have a reaction to it, which means that if the price goes there, definitely it will bounce, And another reason why I don't like to trade US sessions, because when the price goes into the zones, most of the time it doesn't respect the zone and you just pierce through. So that's also another reason why I avoid US session. And I guess that's why my trading strategy is more suited for London and Asian. So as you can see from the chart, the strategy I use is very basic. It's what people always hear, but people always say that it's too basic and there's nothing much to it. Because I only use support and resistance. That's how I identify my zones. Like you can see, this is a resistance here, resistance here. So you can see that at every blue zones, there's always a reaction there. So support and resistance to me is very important. And that's where I always use. And sometimes I will look at the fair value gap, the FVG, but that's just like an additional thing because it makes my chart a bit messy. So most of the time I'll just hide it. And the other thing that I use is a trend line. So as you can see, there's this green line here. It's actually a trend line from a bigger time frame. So as you can see, that goes on the downtrend. So for me personally, I'm expecting gold to go lower. Of course, when I do my trading, my chart, I don't really look so far. Most of the time, I'll be looking at 1 hour chart or 30 minutes chart because my trading style is more towards I don't really hold trades for a few minutes or days. I'm more of an intraday trader, so I hold trades for hours. And I try to close it before I sleep because if it's not closed and you go to sleep, I don't think you can be sleeping now. Exactly. You'll probably every now and then wake up and then just say, hey, where's the price now? So for me, I try to close it within the same day. So for me, when I want to trade, before I enter a trade, I always draw trend lines. So I'll just like draw just very simple trend line, just down. And then you can see that, hey, look, gold price is pretty much at the trend line, the downward sloping trend line. So if you want to trade, you can probably take a short here. But of course, for me, my strategy is because of the zones that I've marked, it doesn't meet the zone and the trend line. So this one normally I wouldn't trade. Unlike over here, if let's say the trend line is like that, and the price comes here, and you can see that it touches the zone as well. So this is where I will probably enter a trade if I am looking at the chart. Because over here, you can see a good 60 pips around their reaction. And for me, normally when I trade, I normally aim about 30 to 50 pips for a trade. Seldom go more than that, unless like there's a really good confluence, which is trend line, and it hits the zones and also Fibonacci. So I really love Fibonacci because that's like a magical tool. So like I will always draw a Fibonacci from in every time frame. Like this is H1, I'll go to M30 and I'll draw, and I'll go to M15 and I'll also draw. So I can see in case I want to make an entry, so what is a good price? So as you can see, this downtrend, when you draw the Fibonacci, you can see that they always say the golden zone is the 618, 0.5 is also strong. So you can see that when the price goes down and then it touches the 618, the 0.5, there's a big reaction. It goes down very big. It goes down all the way. So for me, if I were to take a trade, I would try to find confluences. The more, the better, because if there are more confluence, I'll be more confident to take the trade and hold the trade longer. Otherwise, I'll just take 30 to 50 pips. Like this morning, when the market opened this morning, it opened, if I'm not mistaken, it opened at 1913. So what I did was, it was in the zone and there was room for the price to go up to touch the trend line. So I actually took a quick buy and I closed it within 35 pips. And to me, that's all for the day because, as I said, trading is never ending. You can trade all day, you can make all the money you want, but at the same time, you will lose your balanced lifestyle. So like for me, my target every day is about 30 to 50 pips. Like today, I've already achieved my quota. So I'm going to rest for the day.
That's
so
amazing.
That's why I can be very relaxed for the interview today. Otherwise, I'll be very stressed out looking at the charts.
And thinking of the trade. Yeah.
Exactly. So as you can see over here in the trend line, it kind of did a fake out over here, but it couldn't break. So it started going down again. So my strategy is pretty simple. I do not look at the chart and wait for it to. I do not look at the chart and then just enter it blindly and then hope for a miracle to happen. Normally, I love to set limit orders. I know some people say that setting limit orders is not good because you want the price to go there and then you see some confirmation, then you enter a trade. So for me, particularly, I'm not saying that's bad because every trading style is good. Just
Different,
that depends on what kind of personality you are, what kind of trader you are.
Yeah.
So for me, if I were to adopt that, meaning to say that I wait for a confirmation and as everything's fine, then only I enter a trade, I'll probably miss out a good 20, 30 pips already. I'll be late to that entry.
Yeah.
So to me, that 20, 30 pips is good enough for me to close the trade and call it a day. So that's why normally I like to, like, for example, today, if you can see the zones on the blue side, let me remove this Fibo to keep it clean. So as you can see here, what I'm looking at is I've already set a limit order somewhere here, 1928 around there for a sell order, and also a buy order somewhere here. So it's like setting your booby traps. You let the price go there, and then when it has a reaction, you take profit.
Yeah.
So again, although it may be a good zone to perhaps, let's say if I put a sell order here, and then the price comes here, and then it starts to go down all the way. It may happen, but for me, I'm happy with my 30 to 50 pips, or maybe even 70, 80 pips if I'm greedy. But yeah, I try to keep it disciplined that way because my wife always tells me, again, money is there, money can never be enough. So just treat this like your job. Treat this, just get 30 to 50 pips, just earn that money and it's good enough because this 30 to 50 pips is actually a lot already. So any more than that, you'll be subjected to greed and eventually you get hungry and you blinded with money and you overtrade, correct? So like right now, my limit orders is still quite far. So I'm just going to relax because I've already hit my quota for the day. So I can afford to just chill and wait for the sale to hit my orders.
Yeah. And I see the RSI. Do you look at it like overbought, oversold, or you look for divergences?
Okay, so RSI is there for me to just give some confirmation. Like for example, if the price is over here, like I know, like, I'm sure that when this move actually happened, most people will be a bit afraid to take a sell trade because I'm pretty sure there's a news somewhere here. So people will probably like, hey, look, it's breaking out, so let's take a buy. So I'm sure a lot of people took a buy here and they got caught. So like for me, I will use RSI as a confluence as well because I'm not really a breakout trader. Like for example, if the news says the result is bad for US dollars, which means gold is going to fly. So normally at first instance of the news release, the gold price is going to shoot up. And then people always say, okay, when the price shoot up, you wait for the retest. When it goes down a little bit and then you buy continuously. So normally I don't do that because I don't like to trade breakouts as I find it more risky. Of course, high risk, high reward. But for me, I'm happy with small rewards. So I go with more conservative approach of trading. So like over here, you can see RSI is somewhere in the middle. So it doesn't really give you much confirmation. That's why RSI is something I just look at it and just see if it helps with my confluences.
Just for extra confluence. Yeah.
Just for reference and all.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I do my trading on my phone, actually. I use my phone a lot more than my laptop. My laptop is just there for me to draw the zones and then I just open the trading view on my phone just to see, hey, where's the zone now? Are we hitting the zone? Are we near? That kind of thing. Yeah. So, pretty much I try to keep my chart as clean as possible because if you have too much indicators, like last time I always assumed that, the more you learn, the more you know, you thought the better it is, but actually it's not. The more chaotic it gets. When some say buy, some say sell, then you get confused and it's not nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
And last question that I have about the charts is about the risk to reward ratio. So do you have a positive risk to reward ratio? Do you have a negative? Do you have any requirements on that?
Okay. So for me, my trading strategy is more towards taking small wins. So that's why for me, I would say that my risk to reward in terms of that it may not look nice on the surface because my take profit is probably around 30 to 50 pips, but my risk, I am actually putting it about double or triple of it, which
Wow.
means
Okay.
that if let's say I were to make potentially get a reward of 50, my stop loss will be about 150 pips away. So of course it doesn't look good from a trader perspective, but for me, my win rate after my back test, my analysis, and even the funded trader, the dashboard that you can see your win rate, so my win rate is actually about 85%.
Okay.
So for me, that kind of balance things out because it's either you have a good risk to reward ratio and then a lower win rate, or the other way around, which means that high win rate and then not so nice lose to
Risk to
reward
reward.
ratio.
Yeah.
Risk to reward. Yeah. So that's normally how I trade. So to me, that works for me. That's why I stick to it. Of course, there are some people who may not agree, but again,
It's
trading
individual.
is very individual, and I like how it's working for me, and I do not have to be so stressed up about whatever that's ongoing in the market when I don't want it to happen. So yeah, that's what works for me, and I'll just probably stick to it unless something else better comes along.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
You're right. So is there anything that you wish you did sooner in your journey that would have made the journey easier and smoother? Like, is there anything that you wish you would have changed or done sooner?
Okay, well, definitely I wish the funded trader was here 5 years, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Well, I wish the prop firm phase has been around for a longer time than that, because back then, trading, in particular in Malaysia, when we talk about forex trading, it's a taboo. It's a very big taboo in Malaysia, because in Malaysia there's so much forex scams. So when you tell people that you trade forex, then the next question people ask you, is that a scam company or what? So then you have to say that, oh no, you're actually trading on your own. You're not investing into some forex investment company. So the word forex is actually very sensitive. So that's why many years ago, because of that, a lot of, like, even my parents, my girlfriend back then, now my wife, also didn't really like me trading, because to them, they see it as gambling.
Yeah.
And of course, trading is gambling if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But of course, it's a legitimate way of investing. So in Malaysia in particular, forex trading is actually a very, not a very glamorous thing. It's something where you do it and you don't really want people to know about it.
No, yeah.
So of course, back then I wish, because of this, I didn't really pursue further. I didn't really go hard enough to want to learn more about this forex trading. I didn't really find the motivation to learn all the informations and just feel what people say is not good. So, oh well, I also lost money in forex, so I guess not for me. So I just did not pursue this journey. And yep, as I mentioned, in sometime April or May this year, somehow the urge came, started learning, and I just told
And now
myself
you're
that
here.
what if I want to do it, I make sure that I do it properly and just ignore what everyone says and just follow your dream. And again, I'm thankful that I did that and I did not give up, even though I felt challenges. And so pretty much that.
That's amazing. So initially you kind of allowed the outer noise to impact your decision, but now you realize that it's the best to just ignore what everyone else is saying and focus on the right things.
You're right. Because at the same time, I do have a few friends in particular. They are traders themselves. They are trading in forex. So before I met them, of course, I hear what everyone say that it's a scam or what. But this particular friend just actually tell me that, hey, I'm also trading forex. Don't worry, it's not a scam. Just do only, no need to listen to people. Then he showed me his account. Then that's where I was, oh shoot, that's 100,000 account. You know, as a retail trader, who would want to fund in a 100,000 account, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the idea came in, and it started to grow within me. And luckily I did not listen to others.
That's amazing. How did trading change you as a person, and how did it change different aspects of your life?
In terms of trading, how it changes me as a person, I would say that as of now, I would still consider myself in a learning stage. So when you're learning, you are hungry. And when you're hungry, which means that you are always motivated to want to learn more. And whenever you're free, you just watch trading videos, lifeless, basically no life at all. But I guess that's normal when you are hungry and you're new to something.
Yeah.
So how it changed me as a person is I spend a lot less time scrolling social medias, Instagram, Facebook. I spend a lot lesser time now. So I find it good because then last time during my free time, I'll just scroll social media. Now during my free time, I just look at the charts. So it's totally different. Either you look at the charts or you look at those ebooks or read some books on trading to further equip your trading knowledge.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, it helps me with instilling good discipline. Always want to learn. And also because I don't really like to read books. So my wife actually challenged me to finish this particular book called Trading for a Living.
Okay,
I can't remember who's the author anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't really like to read, but she said that, okay, if you are serious into trading, you're going to finish this book. And if you don't finish this book, then too bad for you lah. I don't think you're up for it. And on top of that, she actually threw me a challenge. She said that if you do not finish this book, it was meant to be a joke, but she said that if you do not finish this book, you're going to buy me a what's the expensive brand of bracelet called? The one with the flower.
Pandora? No.
Yeah, some no, it's a very expensive,
very expensive
flower pendant. Yeah, so I can't remember what is it called. So she said that if you do not finish this book, you're gonna buy me this. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finish this book. Yeah, so it's a challenge as well.
Yeah. But it's really good that she has definitely been a good impact in your trading, in terms of like reminding you of what to think of, reminding you of not to be greedy, reminding you of not to panic and close your trades earlier. So it's really good that you have a person next to you that benefits in what you're doing and believes in you and supports you. That's amazing. So what is the main plan moving forward?
Okay, so my plan moving forward is actually to get more funded accounts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I understand that the limit is only 600,000. So that is kind of bumped, but hopefully they can increase it next time. So yeah, of course, to get more funded accounts and obviously is to have a more balanced lifestyle, to have a more relaxed lifestyle. Because sometimes when you're in a trade, doesn't matter it's a high risk trade, low risk trade, or medium risk trade, somehow in you will still feel nervous. Sometimes from time to time, you will just tend to look at the chart. Is it going my way yet? Is it going my way yet? Although you already have the stop loss and take profit there. Because for me, I don't fully just leave it there, because sometimes, example, if the take profit is, let's say, 1,900 and the price is already at 1,899, that's like 10 more pips or go. So for me, I'll be very happy to just close it. Because, sometimes you will just go there and you never go back up and goes all the way down. Well, it has happened before. So that's the reason why sometimes it's still, I have to keep checking. So that's the reason why in future, when I have more, I'm managing a bigger account, definitely you're risking a lot lesser per account. In other words, you will not be subjected to the daily drawdown limits. And, the worst thing that could happen to anyone is to lose your funded account. That's what I can say. You can lose a trade, you can lose 2 trades, 3 trades, but you just don't lose your account. Because if you do lose the account, there you go again. You have to buy a new one. Space one, space two. So that feeling is not nice. And I think moving forward as well, of course, as I would like to learn more about the ICT and the SMC concept. So I guess hopefully that will help in terms of polishing my trading skills and knowledge.
I can tell you the difference after the interview and give you a tip of where to start if you want.
Sure.
Okay. Any last words that you would like to share with us before we finish?
Last words, I would say more towards sharing some advice that has particularly helped me. Some advice that I wish someone told me before I started my trading journey. So in terms of that, I would say that when we trade, controlling our emotions, our psychology is the most important thing that everyone should have before they trade, because you can have the most outstanding trading strategy, but if you share that strategy with 10 different people, you will see 10 different kind of results. So why is that so? It's just the same strategy, because everyone has different greed level, everyone has different emotional conditions.
Yeah.
So if that particular person is a very, very patient person, you may see that the money that person is profitable. But
Yeah.
if you give it to someone who is of a gambler mindset, you will find that trading strategy not working for that person. So just like what Warren Buffett says, the financial market is actually a device to transfer of wealth from the impatient to the patient. So to me, patience is the key to everything, because patience brings you discipline. It brings you more courage to take the trade and all. Because if you're patient enough, you'll be able to get the perfect setup that you wish you waited. If not, otherwise, if you're impatient, you probably just enter the setup, and then next moment you realize that, oh shoots, the price went down even more. I should have waited.
Yeah.
So that happens every time. And a lot of times you just start thinking yourself, why didn't I wait? When did I wait? So to me, in trading in particular, patience is the key. And sometimes we do not have to force ourselves to make a trade. We do not have to set a daily target, because if we set a daily target, we tend to
chase it.
Over risk. We tend to risk something that we do not want to risk. And sometimes when your setup is already there, if you set a daily target, but the setup doesn't meet the price that you want, so with that daily target, you tend to just enter the trade and risk your account getting into a drawdown. So that's why for me, there's only three things in trading. Either you take the trade, you buy, or you take a sell, or you do not trade. So as cliche as it may sound, do not trade, which means that you protect your capital as well.
Yeah.
Your capital not growing is also as good as it not losing.
Yeah.
So as a trader, we always want to find the most profitable setup, so that we can just take the trade, close the trade in profits, and that's it for the day as a rest.
Yeah, I totally agree. Wow, it has been an incredible interview. One of my favorite ones, I must say that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing everything with us, for being transparent. I wish you best of luck with everything in the future, and I hope that we're going to have a follow-up interview in the future again.
Yep, thanks, Anna. Thanks for the trader. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks to you too. And to all of you watching, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and show us some love in the comments down below. Trade safe, and until next time.